Hey, what up, guys? It's the BQ Report giving you the next episode of the BQ Report, episode 7 to be exact. And today we're going to be going over this new article in the Wall Street Journal. It's about the government shutdown, and it's amazing. It looks pretty nice, looks beautiful, and I just learned a lot from this new article on wallstreetjournal.com. So I hope you guys learn a lot too. I'm going to give you the summary about it, and then we're going to dive deep into the details and what I think about it. So we will talk about it. It'll be a fun time. You guys stay tuned. Ready? Let's do it. Let's dive into it. Let's get into this. Alrighty. So we have the article. The name of the article is called "Shutdown Breaks Record for Longest in Modern History." It says on the caption that hundreds of thousands of federal workers have missed their first paycheck. In Washington, D.C., the partial government shutdown became the longest in modern U.S. history on Sunday as the impasse over funding for a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border stretched into its 23rd day. Folks, it's 23rd day of the government shutdown. That is outrageous. It's the longest shutdown we've ever had in history. The President of the United States will not reopen the government. Now tell me, leave your comment in the section below and tell me why you think that's happening. Why is Donald Trump making these decisions? I guess we'll never know. He won the election, that's probably it. But we'll just keep moving on from there. So what we have here with Congress out of town for the weekend. Current funding lapse has eclipsed the shutdown that stretched from December 16, 1995 to January 6, 1996 under President Bill Clinton. Now, President Trump has vowed to not sign any spending package that doesn't include $5.7 billion to build the wall, leaving 9 of the federal 15 agencies without appropriated congressional funds since December 22nd. Democrats who assumed control of the House on January 3rd have rejected Mr. Trump's demands for wall funding. Mr. Trump told Fox News on Saturday that he has barely left the White House for months, adding, "I like the symbol of being here," he said in an interview on Fox. He reiterated that he has the right to declare a national emergency, but declines to do so. Of course, he has the right to declare a national emergency. But just because you have the right, does that mean that it's correct to actually do that? No, of course not. He wants to declare a national emergency to take funds from one part of the military and allocate them towards the wall. I think that's a total misallocation of funds, and somebody like that shouldn't be fiscally representing our government. Yeah, Mr. Trump facilitated Friday about whether he would declare a national emergency to build the wall, saying, "What we're not looking to do right now is a national emergency," which is understandable. I respect that. It would be a disaster if you declared that. Now, Mr. Trump continues on and says, "I do have a plan for the shutdown," he said. "But to understand that plan, you would have to understand the fact that I won the election." Now, what the hell does that mean? What does winning the election have to do with building this wall? They're separate issues. See, this is the part of Donald Trump that just says things which make no sense to the media. He says things to reporters. And, I get it that he wants to be authentic and say what's on his mind. But if you're going to be authentic, you might want to come up with some more intelligent-based responses than just, hey, it's the election. That's the reason why I want to build this wall. I won the election. I don't get it. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of employees missed their first paychecks Friday, raising the pressure on lawmakers and the White House to end the shutdown. Even House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who has told the president the House won't include wall funding in a spending bill, called the extended shutdown totally unnecessary. Now, with negotiations unsuccessful, staff at the White House Office of Management and Budget are laying the groundwork for the shutdown to continue through the end of February, according to White House officials who have been briefed on the plans. In addition, White House officials said the notion among some advisors is to use their captive audience for the January 29th State of the Union address to have the president admonish lawmakers for a shutdown that had the point would be on its 39th day. So, as soon as the State of the Union address is performed, that will be the 39th day of the government shutdown if it continues on, which I'm pretty sure it's going to continue on. It was unclear whether Mr. Trump has been debriefed on these discussions. Also, in one sign that lawmakers are feeling some pressure, the House on Friday passed a bill approving back pay for federal employees who missed their paychecks because of the shutdown. The bill, which Senate approved late Thursday, mandates that roughly 420,000 essential employees now working without pay and the 38,000 furloughed workers be compensated as soon as the government reopens. Mr. Trump said Friday he would sign the bill. You know, that's partly understandable, but partially not. And let me tell you why. We see these federal employees who are not receiving pay right now. They're not getting paid for their work that they're doing. They keep working hard. They're not getting paid. Although they'll be fully compensated when the government shutdown ends, there's no dead set time of when he's actually going to pay these federal workers. It just makes it like an unstable experience for these workers, especially those who are living paycheck to paycheck. If Mr. Trump declares a national emergency, officials may divert military construction funds to build the wall. Federal law allows the president to halt military construction projects and divert those funds for the emergency. Like I said earlier about the lawful practice that would be able to occur if Mr. Trump built the wall and used the national emergency issue as a negotiation tactic to build the wall in any kind of way by taking the funds from the military and allocating them somewhere else. I think that's wrong, even though he has the right to do it and he has the power to do it. I think that's totally wrong, and he should be able to come to an agreement with the Democrats. If the Democrats don't want to build the wall, he should just give up and reopen the government because it's really detrimentally affecting people's financial lives. Representative Roger Williams said that he doesn't want him to do that. He's a Republican from Texas whose district includes Fort Hood. The Army base has projects at its barracks and elsewhere that Mr. Williams said he didn't want to see delayed. He said he would hate to see that money moved around, he added. That's a Republican saying that to Donald Trump. You know, he would hate to see the money moved around. He doesn't want to see these allocation of resources being put to misuse. Lawmakers from both parties expressed concern Friday about another financing option the administration is considering, asking the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to look into projects approved in a 2018 bill providing disaster relief for Puerto Rico, Texas, California, and Florida to see whether funding could be diverted to build the wall if he declares border security an emergency. It's going to piss off a lot of members, said Representative Mike Simpson, Republican from Idaho, a senior member of the House Appropriations Committee. The Democrats warned that if Mr. Trump declares a national emergency to build the wall, he could set a precedent that could backfire on Republicans under a future Democratic president. They should be concerned that if he wants something passed, he or she is going to try to bypass the Congress by going this particular route. This route that he wants to take is dangerous for the nation. It detriments people's economies and their financial lives. The people that are working for the federal government are not receiving their paychecks. We also cannot contact the IRS. It's difficult to contact the government since they're shut down. Now, one of the most interesting things I've read today was Senator Lindsey Graham said that Mr. President should declare a national emergency now. He said, build a wall now. This seems like a ploy to get people on his side because he knows that a lot of people support Lindsey Graham. However, the Democrats, they dislike Lindsey Graham a lot. We're going to wait and see if the Democrats will give Trump the money for the wall. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have already stated they're not giving him any money for the wall, so we'll see what happens. On Friday, Senators Rob Portman, Republican from Ohio, and Jerry Moran, Republican from Kansas, introduced legislation that would establish a $25 billion trust fund for border security to pay for at least 700 miles of reinforced fencing, additional physical barriers, and more technology. It's, these people, these senators, they're introducing legislation that would establish more money for this fencing or slats or concrete wall, whatever you want to call it. However, he still does not have the money in order to build the wall. Donald Trump will understandably go through negotiations to establish that precedent. The bill also would include protections for a group of undocumented immigrants brought illegally to the U.S. at a young age by their parents. One of those programs was from the Obama era. Mr. Trump ended an Obama era program, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival, or DACA, shielding hundreds of thousands of immigrants from deportation. However, his action was rejected by an appeals court in November. The issue is expected to be reviewed by the Supreme Court. I guess we're going to have to wait and see what the Supreme Court says about this ruling. These are my thoughts on this topic. Thank you all for watching, and have a good day.